No, I mean, this is we feel like an important
Yeah.
beat right here of, Ilias seeing that Gira, even though they disagree in philosophies, and Ilia is, they're there to kill them, Gira is willing to put that aside to, they should not die. They should be brought to justice.
Yeah.
He's of that mentality. So he's not going to let somebody die just,
Yeah.
because they're trying to attack him. So
Fennec maybe shouldn't have been charging up that blast, bud.
yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, no, it was something really important to us too, that like that the person that made Elia really change her mind was actually someone that wasn't Blake.
Yeah.
Obviously Blake pretty much did all the hard work leading up to it,
Right.
but it was really like someone that she hadn't really even been thinking about. Blake's dad was the one to save her in the end. And yeah, that moment of like, even though this person considers me their enemy, they save me. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's what you said.
Well, yeah, and I think too, there's kind of things we've talked about through Gira and Sienna and a bunch of other people is that there was this obviously this power change between Gira and Sienna, and there's probably a good time out there where Ilia thought Gira was weaker or just really disagreed with his philosophies, but the fact that she was able to look past that because he stepped up for her, I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Everyone stay back. We've got people inside doing their best.
And they're going to get out as quickly as possible because it's super on fire.
This speech was a thing.
Yeah.
It was the kind of skeleton of the speech was already had already kind of been planned out in volume 4. Like we knew what moment we were building to, and essentially the overall. I think the most important thing that Blake says during this is that the people of Menagerie are looking for simple answers to complicated problems. I talked about this briefly back in the alleyway scene with Ilia, but like, when we first started off writing this years ago, we wanted to try and be able to say like some things about how we feel about, like racism and treating people with respect and all that stuff. And back then, I think we were very optimistic and very ambitious. And also, if I'm being completely honest, like a little naive. That's a very difficult and incredibly complicated subject to tackle, and needs to be treated with a certain level of respect and seriousness. And I think this speech was us. Well, I don't know. At least I don't want to speak for you. But like,
It's fine.
it's like she says, you can't. This isn't just a simple problem. It's not. It is years and years and years and years and years of so many different things. But the thing to focus on right now is like beating the hell out of each other doesn't help. Is something I genuinely believe.
Yeah.
And this was a hard thing to write.
No, I mean, I thought it turned out great. I think that, I think you said this in a slightly different way, but it's like the White Fang, arc could have ended earlier if we just kind of said a couple lines and just had somebody change their mind quicker, or just kind of like swept something under the rug. But it's something that we thought was an important topic and wanted to make sure that it got proper screen time and proper time to, get a more important message out there.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And there's still, how things went with the White Fang this volume is not going to be the end of
Sure.
everything for the faunus have to deal with as the series continues to go on. But I think it was a really important step. And man, this was like, it just so happened around the time where I was finishing up this scene was when the horrible tragedy in Charlottesville went down. And I watched a Vice piece that was released on it. And my God, it made this a lot more difficult to write.
Yeah.
If you'd have me.
Yeah, I don't again, I don't want to speak for you either, but like, I don't think that when we came up with not to get political here, but when we came up with the White Fang idea and some of the things that they'd be touching on, I don't think we ever thought it would be a direct mirror of something that was happening in present day.
And that's like, and that's not like, because that's the thing too. It's like we want to write this show to like make it like a fun show, an entertaining show, a place of like escapism and adventure, and we wanted to introduce this idea of the faunus discrimination as like a minor thing when we first started with it, but like then there was that realization of like it shouldn't really be treated as a minor thing though, and it made writing a lot more difficult. And Lord knows, like, I'm sure there's a lot of things that we could have done better and still need to do better about. But yeah, this is a pretty long scene, but we really feel like it needed to be. And
I think a lot of people liked it.
I hope so. And I know also some people might think that Ilias was forgiven too quickly, which like I could totally get. And you know, maybe you wave the anime flag at it a little bit, but I do genuinely think that like it is such an unbelievable trait to be able to forgive people.
Sure.
It's hard to do, to forgive someone that really screwed you over or upset you in some way. And I think it speaks just more strongly to Blake as a character and how far she's come. Maybe that's just me. I'm really proud of Blake. I really like Blake.
I think there's also something we've said too. It's like, you know, Ilias. It's like we said before. We even said in the show is like she's not exactly wanting to go down the path that she's on, and it just seems like the path that's going to get the best results. So when she's presented with a path that she likes the idea of more, and she thinks it gets results, like of course she's gonna want to go towards that direction.
I think my favorite thing that people called out though in the speech is when Blake points to the burning house, is like, humans didn't do this, faunus did this. Specifically me, I lit the house on fire. I mean, I thought that was so funny. I didn't mean literally the fire, I meant more of the figurative attack. But I thought that was so funny. I was like, they make a very good point.